Hello and welcome to episode 132 of the Mighty Whites podcast. Sound is okay because my laptop has decided to completely explode, so I'm doing this on my phone. Hopefully it'll work. I'm Jack, as always, joined by KC. You alright, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. You?
Yeah, all things considered, not bad at all. Obviously, we're meant to do this a bit earlier in the week, but I've put it a few. I did mention it briefly last time, but death in the family, things are all over the shop at the minute. So we're doing it now, which means that I'm a little bit more circumspect than I was after the actual Leicester game and it didn't just seem to be me. I think the whole fan base, we finally saw a really good performance. And there was a bit of almost an overreaction to it, as in you'd have thought we'd have won 4-0 in some quarters, but it was a good performance.
Yeah, I think the main thing is, you say that it was just a good performance. I think the main thing was it was back to normal for us for what we've seen for the last couple of years that we just haven't seen really so far this season. I know we had a good first half against West Ham and we had a good game against Everton, but I think this is by far and away the closer, the most normal Bielsa ball performance we put in this season.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think everyone said it was his best performance of the season. I don't think anyone would doubt that. It was an enjoyable game to watch as well, which hasn't been the case for a lot of ours this season. Like, it was nice to be watching a Bielsa team again, because it was almost, I know that it was sort of, Strout getting shoved over to one side and stuff, but it was basically a 4-2-4 and just going for it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't think Strout did too bad on the left-hand side, as and I know he's had that experience in midfield now, which I think will help for how you play a Bielsa role. He's obviously not in the Alioski Firpo mould of I'm bombing forward at every possible opportunity, but I thought he got forward pretty well. And obviously the linchpin of our team after 2 years is Adam Forshaw, obviously.
Yeah, obviously that was in a way the biggest takeaway, because I must admit, like, when I even tweeted out about it before the game on our account saying the bookies have this as a dead 50-50, and looking at those two teams, I think that's a generous price on Leicester. And obviously it ended up being a draw, so fair enough. But when I saw Forshaw in the team, based on the bits we'd seen in sub appearances and the bits I'd seen in 23s, I didn't think he was going to be ready yet, like, at all. And especially with their midfield being Ndidi, Samare, and Tielemans, which is a very good midfield, I thought he's gonna get his legs run off him here, and he just didn't. He was tidy on the ball. He was fine defending. He tracked his men well, but I think it was just his movement and the angles he made in the middle of midfield. Even if he wasn't the one getting on the ball, I think that's why. Even though we went long a lot, more than we used to, and we're still a bit transitional, but we did play through more than we have been doing, and I think that he was the reason for it.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a double pivot, but it definitely gives you that extra angle in midfield, because I think a lot of our play seems to be, our defence into Phillips, right? Which side's it going to? Whereas you've got that extra pivot point there with Forshaw, who obviously isn't picking out the range of passing that we're kind of used to from Phillips, but the ball retention you get with having someone like Forshaw in the team is fantastic. And especially, you even look at that Norwich game where the midfield was fairly ineffective, and that goes for both teams, to be fair. But it was quite nice having a game like this where you felt fairly comfortable. Forshaw getting the ball, doing his usual 360 turn, simple layoff afterwards, and you're just keeping the ball ticking over. You're keeping hold of possession. And yeah, like you say, it was just a case of kind of wondering, will he have the speed for it, and how long can he go for? And fair enough, what was it, about 85 minutes when he came off?
Yeah, he went down with a bit what looked like cramp at the end. Everyone just went, that makes sense. Yeah, fair enough. Bit of a boon for Charlie Cresswell to be the one phone on in that situation, but we'll probably come on to that a bit later. because he played for the 21s last night. The game itself, as I said with the teams, like if you'd have offered me a draw at kickoff, I'd have took it. But I think it's a missed opportunity because I thought we were just better than them throughout. Really.
It's if you kind of look back at the chances by the end of it and the quality of them, we should be disappointed that we didn't test Schmeichel more than we did. You know, just in terms of the Jack Harrison chance, as I've watched it back now, is frustrating, and it's more. I think it's the fact he doesn't have that sort of anticipation of a striker who I think might see that more and hold the run a minute, just, you know, and either let it come down to the feet or might already be positioning themselves for a header or something like that, and you know ends up going to his thigh.
TV changed my opinion on that because when I came out of the ground, I said he just had no time to react and it hit his knee. And then I watched it back on TV and thought, you know what, I think he did have enough time to react.
Yeah, I think same as you, having watched it back kind of a bit later. I think if it was a striker in that position, I think that they got themselves set better. Or maybe I'm just being harsh, but
or maybe even set worse, so it hits him in like the thigh instead of the kneecap and goes downwards.
Yeah. And the other chance of the second half was Dan James massively slicing one off.
Yeah,
and again the frustrating thing with him was he was a fantastic outball for us all afternoon. In much the similar way Vardy is for them, Dan James was finding those pockets in behind, and it's just the fact that he can't finish,
and especially on his left foot. He swings his left foot at the ball in the way I do. Just like, no confidence. I'm just going to hit this. And, I mean, obviously, he's a lot better at it than I am. But the idea of there's no control to the finish on his left foot. It's just, I need to try and make solid contact. And that appears to be as far as it goes on his left side. Not on his right. On his right, he picks his spot and stuff. He hasn't got his goal yet, but he looks a lot more comfortable. I wonder if he just needs a goal to kind of settle him down a bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and again, he'll have to get used to it as well. That he's come in and so far has played both sides of, you know, both wings, brief appearances as a left wing back and a striker, and he's played 5 games.
Yeah,
you know, welcome to Leeds.
Yeah, obviously he had the chances. There was that Rodrigo volley from the Dallas cross after he overlapped. He hit it really well. That was another one where in the ground I thought it was a really tight angle, and then on telly it wasn't quite as tight an angle as I thought. So it's one where he'd think he should do better, but it's not. It's not a great chance. And then obviously we have the goal itself, which is just a great free kick from Rafinha. He's so good, and it's such a shame that he's
it was all ruined.
He's just gone, innit? Like, there's no way. If he keeps being this good, there's no way someone doesn't come in and offer us a shitload of money.
Yeah. I mean, bless him as well. Like, one, it's the perfect free kick. It's curled into the corridor of uncertainty and gets that bounce where you've got players running in, possibly getting a touch. Kasper Schmeichel can't go too early in case that touch comes. And then it doesn't, so it just curls in at the back post. And then I didn't see, but I assume he got up and shouted at some defenders.
Oh, he definitely did. Like Rodrigo had a little waft at it with his foot, which they've now done it twice, so I'm choosing to believe is a deliberate ploy on their part. They've cooked up in training. Go for these free kicks, but don't actually go for them. Go for these in-swinging crosses. I am having a shot, even if it's from 40 yards. So just like dummy it.
Yeah. But yeah, again, thought nice goal for him to get. Brilliant. And it's the sort of game where we needed to score first, because it against that sort of team with the quality they had, it's not a team I want to be playing against 1-0 down.
No, it's true. Like, and the thing is, it was like the Norwich game. You score, you go 1-0 up, and you think, right, we needed that first goal. That really settles us down. All we have to do now is just keep it calm for a minute or so. And against Norwich, we gave away a stupid corner and conceded a goal. Against Leicester,
we didn't even give ourselves time to concede a stupid corner.
No, I mean, it's just a long ball forward from a goal kick. If you're being hypercritical, Stuart Dallas backs off massively to clear it with his foot. And the guy 6 yards in front of him heads it, which means Dallas probably should have gone forward, not back.
Yeah, but he very much gets caught in no man's land, doesn't he, between staying with his man or attacking the ball.
Yeah. It's the wrong thing to do, but I thought Dallas was miles better in this game. He looked a lot more like himself. At the time, I was really annoyed because you can see the goal straight after scoring. It's just infuriating. But that goal, I mean, it's a brilliant finish, and that maybe goes in 1 in 20.
It's so nice. It's one of those that's just outside the post until it's in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take nothing away.
My favourite thing that I saw 4 separate people saying Melier should have saved that.
I don't know in what reality anyone is saving it when it's... Unless he's, cockily leaning against that post when the shot's hit, going, go on, dare you, put it the other side. No, it's about as inside the post, just inside the post you can get it without it hitting the post, really. It's such a lovely finish. It's just... obviously, and I will take full responsibility for that goal. You would have seen it later. As when we scored, I text Jack saying, "Get the fuck in," and then before he'd even had a chance to see it, I just texted him the words, "Never mind."
Yeah, it was 100% your fault. It must have given Orta an aneurysm because he obviously not only tried to sign Harvey Barnes, he basically did. Like, picked out his squad number and everything, because we only got Jack Harrison because of all that, didn't we? Because it was going to be Harvey Barnes. I mean, we've done fine out of the Jack Harrison deal, so I'm perfectly fine with it, but it must annoy him every time he has a good game.
Yeah. And then the concern after that was that, again, like, all right, Leicester have found the feet in this game now, and because obviously they'd had the chance early, well, I say chance early on that VAR came to the rescue a little bit.
The penalty shout on Vardy, which I still have not seen back on TV.
I actually missed it initially, trying to get a decent stream. Noel Whelan had let me down on that one. But yeah, I'm still... I'm thankful for VAR for that. Not generally, just and again later on, as it would prove, with Leicester's disallowed goal, which honestly I think it actually broke my heart, that goal. Yeah. I think they scored. I think that went in, and I went, "Oh, we're going down."
Yeah. Well, the thing, I mean, we'll skip straight to that. The thing with it was that when they scored that second goal before VAR intervened, we were playing really well. Like, we were all over them, and I was enjoying it. And they get the set piece, and it's quite a soft set piece again. And Liam Cooper knocks it out, covering a cross behind Strauch. And he is kind of fouled a little bit as he puts it out, but it was such a weak one that no one's ever going to get him unless they're called Luke Ayling.
Yeah.
It was soft, but you just there thinking, it's a bit soft. And there's a shower. You just get that sinking feeling, and corner in, flick on, Luckman at the back post. And I was so shocked when VAR overturned it, because there was people around me who normally I would say are more biased than me. So they're quite often up for things that clearly aren't fouls, stuff like that. But on this occasion, I think me being a pessimist meant that I was the one out of touch, because I didn't just say to him, "No, it was onside." That I said it was 2 yards on. Like in real time in the stand, I didn't just think it was onside. I thought it was miles onside. And admittedly, we relatively near the halfway line, so it's not the best view of it, but I was certain it was onside, so I was absolutely delighted when it got over to.
I think I became a religious man in those 90 seconds of just thanked every deity there was for that goal being disallowed. Vishnu, God, Superman, all of them. Just any.
Yeah, any of the above. Whoever did it, cheers.
But yeah, like you said, I thought we'd been fantastic all through the second half. It was, again, a bit disappointing that Jack Harrison didn't have more of an end product. But I'm glad to see him getting on the ball and still trying. As frustrating as it is, I'd rather have him doing that than us essentially go, right, just give it to Rafinha and we'll basically play with 10.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because at 5 minutes into the second half, I think it was, I said to my dad, Harrison's been better today. And he was trying to beat players, even though he was messing it up some of the time. And he still wasn't anywhere near his best, but he was better. And then pretty much as soon as I said that, he just went off a cliff a bit. He the sort of 20 minutes before we went off, he was pretty poor for that 20 minutes. And you could tell that he knew it, because when he got subbed off, he looked fuming. But not fuming at Bielsa, just he was
disappointed with himself.
Yeah, he knew that it was I saw, and it was being wise after the fact, but I think that they were right. There was a few people on Twitter who said the amount of ball we got down that left-hand side in the second half, we probably should have moved Rafinha over for 10 minutes. And I think that they're probably right, but I can't claim it as an insight, because it was only when someone said it after the game that I thought, yeah, you're right, actually, that's what I'd have done. But at the time, I didn't think it.
Yeah, well, at least to console himself, Jack Harrison has been to Salt Bay's restaurant. So,
oh yeah, that I don't know if it has come up on the square ball because I haven't listened to it yet. But I think that we should revoke his Jackie status for that. He is now Jack again.
I'm guessing you just got a text there or something. Some sort of vibration.
Yeah. No, it was basically a tweet notification from Leeds. Northern Ireland under 21s won 4-0, and Alfie McCalmont scored twice.
Okay, I mean that's it. That's Victor Orta, not Victor Orta. That's Raj Razani's next tweet. Next time someone asks about centre mid, just retweet that. Be fine.
I have to admire his restraint, because as far as I'm aware, he didn't tweet anything after the Leicester game, and he must have wanted to. He must have been dying to.
Must have been dying for just a winky face and nothing else. Just hey, told you. What about Mateus?
Literally, the thing I was about to say is, given the way Forshaw played, and given that when Forshaw was knackered at the end, we brought on Charlie Cresswell and put Strauch into midfield, and Click didn't get off the bench against Norwich either. I know his performances haven't been great, but has he dropped down the pecking order? And do you think he might not? It might take him a long time to even get a shot at getting back in.
I mean, it could well do. I struggle to see a midfield that works with where you've got him and Rodrigo. And I know we were more, like you say, 4-2-4, but you still have Rodrigo dropping deeper, which I do think nullifies a lot of what Click does when we're going forward, him making those runs into similar areas. And to be honest, I understand it in the situation of this game. We were still playing for that point, essentially. I was a bit more surprised about it at Norwich when he didn't come off the bench, but it sort of made sense. It's very odd seeing Bielsa be defensively pragmatic at times.
Yeah, it was. It's a bit of a tough one on Click, but his form has not been good recently, so it's fair enough. There's been other times where he seems to have this once a season now where he has a bad run, but he does tend to get back out of it. So hopefully we'll see that fairly soon. I thought it was a very unfortunate week for Gelhardt to be injured.
Yeah, it was disappointing seeing the team sheet put out and his name not on it, and he'd been seen in the stadium as well. So it must have been down for a late fitness test or something and not pass that because he didn't play the day before for the 23s at all. So yeah, which kind of think worried a lot of people going, oh, Christ, we're going to be left with James and Rodrigo as your striking options at this point. And then, so yeah, it would have been nice to have him, but I ultimately, I don't see him coming on in that game with how it went.
You see, the way the game was going, and Roberts did absolutely fine when he came on, but when he took Harrison off and moved James to the left, I could have seen it being Gelhardt instead of Roberts in that situation. I think that he might have got a chance.
I don't think he's there yet, despite that Wolves performance.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that my mum thinks he is every bit a Premier League player right now.
In fairness, I agree with your mum.
My mum saw match of the day.
Yeah, I did at least see the whole game.
But yeah, it's going to be another one of those frustrating things that I think it makes it sort of more frustrating now because of how long we called for Gelhardt to start playing. And then we've seen that Wolves performance, and then it feels like we're just going to go back to how it was. It's basically the Robbie Gotts approach for me. I was just like, no, but I saw it. He was good. Why are we not playing him? Why is Tyler Roberts getting ready again?
No, mind you, if Forshaw wouldn't have had such a great game, that might be me with Lewis Bate right now. Because it was nice to see him on the bench, even if he didn't get on. It shows that he is a bit, he's getting closer.
Yeah, he'd had that really. I mean, he looked good, as we spoke about last time. He looked good in the 23s against Arsenal. He put in that good performance against Salford in the PJT, the Papa John's.
That to me just sounded like a dyslexic version of the JPT. But yeah,
it'll always be the JPT to me. It's the Coca-Cola Cup and the Johnson's Paint Trophy. That's the world I live in right now.
Was it the auto windscreen shield?
Yeah, but I'm only counting it from a time when I had to care about that competition, and even when I cared, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
With that one, I might stretch to the LDV vans. But yeah, it's good to see that he's at least able to get on the bench. I think he's a fantastic prospect. Oh God, Jack's gone. I've never had to do this on my own, but yeah, very nice to see Lewis Bate getting into the team. Thank God he's back.
I apologise if that flickered. My phone just went a bit funny.
I nearly had a meltdown there. There was a moment when I went, oh my God, I've never done this on my own before.
Yeah, it just went.
But, it was another one of those where you do look at Leicester's bench compared to ours, because they brought James Maddison off the bench, didn't they? And you're looking there going, go on, Crescencio, we'll be fine.
Yeah, so Somerville, I really like Somerville. I'd love to see him play more than he does. We've got a few of those youngsters, and the problem is the only way to really get them all thrown in is to get relegated, and I don't want that.
It's nice to see Somerville get called up for the under-21s for Holland.
Yeah, he's got called up for that. I think Hjelder's been bumped up, so he's in the under-21s for Norway now with Klassen. Charlie Cresswell came on late for England and the 21s last night. I think Drama was an unused sub. But we've got...
Now Robbie Gotts was an unused sub.
Yeah. Jordan Stevens scored an absolute screamer for Barrow. I mean, he went on a permanent, and he wasn't even really one of ours. We nicked him from Forest Green, but I'm still claiming him.
He was always a funny one for me because he had that period for a couple of months of he would just come off the bench for 15 minutes, 10 minutes at the end. And then it was just like, nah, not him.
Yeah, he did seem to... Bielsa seemed to really rate him for about 2 months, didn't he?
Yeah, and then... It's one of those things where I think if you look at it emotionally, it's probably it's a very horrible way to deal with players. But I don't think Bielsa looks at it at all in that way. It's just like, he is the player I need right now. Right, I don't need him now. Yeah. Move on.
Yeah, you feel like away from football, that's the opposite of what Bielsa would be like. But in football,
yeah,
this is the way it is. But yeah, are you feeling a bit more confident now in terms of, because I think that we've both said the whole time that we think we'll stay up, but we were starting to get worried, and we've still, in terms of the league table, got plenty to worry about and stuff. But do you feel a lot better now after that Leicester game?
Yeah, I think it basically showed that the ability and confidence is still there to play that style of football, coupled with the fact that we did it against a pretty decent team as well. You know, I know that graphic did the rounds of the fixtures we've got in December of Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. But our next four are Tottenham, Brighton, Palace, and Brentford. And I do now feel more confident going into that run. I know Palace are playing really well at the moment, and Spurs on paper is a daunting task. Brighton are playing the best football they've played since getting the best results since they've been in the Premier League. They were probably playing just as well last season without getting the results. But no, I feel more confident going into those games that we're actually going to play like we should do. And again, it's that thing of, we should probably, given the squad they have, we should probably lose to Spurs. Given the way they've played this season, there's a chance we'll lose to Brighton. But I just feel better about the whole thing now. If we lose those four, then that's it. I'm done. But
yeah, obviously Spurs away, especially even though we haven't had long and we haven't had time to see if it's worked yet, I'd be less worried about Nuno's Spurs than I am about Conte's Spurs.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, it's an international break and all of their players will be away on international breaks, somehow I still think they're going to be really well drilled and good.
He's going to have a fantastic 4 days with them.
Yeah. And he loves a wing back and he loves getting the best out of especially the left-sided one. So I'm expecting Reguilón to have an absolute storm of a game.
We've got informed Stuart Dallas now. We'll be fine.
Yeah, Brighton will be. I mean, Brighton was tough for us when we were playing well and they weren't getting results, so it will be. Brentford, that's one we need to get some at.
Yeah, they've started to drop off a little bit now, haven't they?
Yeah, and then before that, is it the Palace game? That's for 8:15 on a Tuesday one, isn't it? And that's at home, and we should win that. I think.
Yeah, 8:15.
I think it's because it's on Amazon Prime. I think that's why it's the weird kickoff.
So I've got for you.
Well, you know, we've gone through that. Leeds, obviously, were never. Even when it was all going tits up, there was never really any talk from anyone other than complete morons about Bielsa. But a fair few have blinked, with it being the international break. Villa sacked Dean Smith, got Steven Gerrard.
Good appointment by the looks of things. I mean, obviously time will tell, but I'm backing Steven Gerrard on this one.
Yeah, I said same on our Twitter the other day. My gut says that this will go well. I think.
Well, Villa have stumped up the money to bring in his whole team as well, because I think he's got a fairly extensive staff. I think he brings a doctor with him. He's got his own analysts and everything. So I think they've stumped up for pretty much the whole thing that he wanted to bring with him.
And most importantly, Gary Mark.
Yeah. Who is probably still the best player on the pitch.
At least in five-a-side.
I imagine he just strolls it these days, but yeah.
Now, I must say, I think that, I mean, I don't particularly like Dean Smith. That's not uncommon among Leeds fans. But I don't think he's an awful manager, but I don't think he's great either. I mean, he got a bit, I think he's been okay, but not great. Gerrard obviously has only had one job in senior football, and it is Rangers, so they've got plenty of money compared to most of the league. But he has caught up and overhauled Celtic, who had more money and a bigger and better squad to start with. So he has done well.
I mean, fair play to him as well for all that. It was an unbeaten season and conceded 13 goals in 38 league games. It's, it was daft how good they were last season.
Yeah. That one will go. Yeah, I think it'll go well. I think that they'll end up safely mid-table. Norwich got rid of Daniel Farke, which is fair enough. They still don't have anyone, and apparently today Frank Lampard's turned the job down because one is a coward. They're not going to give me £20 squillion to spend, so I'm not going to take the job. And
is he
two,
waiting? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, and two, more importantly, lucky you, Norwich fans, lucky you, because you can do so much better than him. And you don't even need to get someone particularly good to be doing better than him. He's only had 2 jobs and he's failed in both.
Is he waiting for the Chelsea job again? Like, I know. Did he turn down Palace?
It's not 100%. There was a lot of talk about him before the era. But there were definitely stories in the press saying he was going to get it and then he turned it down because it was such a big and difficult rebuild.
Yeah, so there's that. He's been overlooked for the Newcastle job. He's turned this job down. I'm just thinking at this point, like, what job are you waiting for? You've got
the England job.
I mean, you've got a season of not getting promoted and then failing with a really expensively assembled squad.
Yeah,
he had a good season. He had a good first season.
Yeah,
where he used, threw in the kids, did well
because he was forced to.
Yeah, and then decided to replace all the kids with expensive people and failed miserably. So, yeah, but I don't understand what sort of level job he's holding out for at this point. Like, I can't see any of the quote unquote big six. I can't see Everton looking at him. Spurs clearly weren't. Like, I don't know. I don't know who he thinks he's going to get a job with.
Punditry beckons, you reckon?
Christ. I mean, if he replaces Jack Grealish, not Jack Grealish, if he replaces Jack Wilshere, I'm okay with it. He was I think he made something of a punditry debut and was bland as anything.
I didn't say it.
You know when you want to describe your ideal pundit, quiet and shy is not a description you want to use, but that's how Jack Wilshere came across.
Mind you, though, it's early days. You never know. I mean, I hope that he finds a club and can start playing again, but it's not looking that way, is it?
No, clearly not.
Is there anyone who you think is going to get the Norwich job? There were a couple of stories saying that Dean Smith did go to interview for it pretty much straight after he got sacked, and interviewed well enough that they had second thoughts about Lampard. So in my head, if those stories were true, I'm assuming he becomes favourite.
I'm going to throw out my old cliche of, Kerbishley, Roy Keane, Mick McCarthy. Those are your three. Collins might have one more challenge in him.
That'd be fun.
Oh, God, it'd be funny.
Although they are one. If they got Colin Wanker, they're 100% winning Ellen Road later in the season.
Have you seen who Cardiff's manager is for the rest of the season?
The Shift.
Yeah, Steve Morrison. He's a football manager now.
As if it's not grim enough supporting Cardiff. Like, getting him in.
But yeah, I'm just trying to think managerially because of how much bloody turmoil there was over managers in the summer, and that was just Spurs. And then you've had a bit of a shake-up now. Eddie Howe's off the list, who was on every list since leaving Bournemouth. I don't really know. There's no point getting Big Sam in, is there?
No. The only other one that came into my head, and he's only just gone to Swansea, so it'd be a bit weird, but Russell Martin's got quite a good reputation after like the football. He got MK Dons playing and stuff. And he played for Norwich forever, didn't he? So
yeah.
So maybe him.
Who was I forget his name now. Who was Swansea manager before him? The goalless looking one.
Steve Cooper?
Yeah. I don't know, I quite liked him. I thought he did all right with him, and then it's clearly got off the boil this season, but I don't know. Start planning for life in the Championship now, I suppose. Yeah. So one thing I said is, if you take this job, you can't really fail at it.
That's true, because you're not going to get judged.
No, you're a quarter of the way through the season, and you've got one win. Like, what's to fail at?
Yeah. The only way you fail is if you finish on like 14 points or something.
You know what? With how we finished the season last year, get a Hecking bottom in. Knows the league.
Hecky won't be going anywhere because he's got a decent chance of getting the Sheffield United job at this rate. They're like 15th in the Championship.
I heard Rhian Brewster finally scored a league goal for them. That's nice.
And then the only other one of note, Eddie Howe's got the Newcastle job. Yeah.
I mean, good for him. He was biding his time for the right job. The right job has come with a fuckload of money, I imagine. Don't look at that red liquid that's on it, but yeah.
Yeah, it seems weird to me that like Eddie Howe was, he did a good job at Bournemouth overall. I know that it fell apart a bit at the end, but considering everything overall, he did a great job. But the one thing that he didn't do well was spend money. Like, and I mean, I know that he's not going to be the one picking the players here, but he just, for the sort of rebuild that they need and the way that they're going to go about it, I don't think that's the guy. I even though they've got all this money to spend, I predicted them to go down pre-season, and I still think they'll go down.
Can't wait for Steve Cook to come in to bolster that defence. 37 years old now, or whatever he is.
Yeah.
Simon Francis. Come on, boys.
By the way, just because my phone vibrated, I can only see half the team because it's a condensed version of the tweet, but Calvin Phillips starts for England.
Yeah.
Therefore, making the England game worth my time.
I will not be watching it, but I'm happy for them, I suppose.
Yeah. Casey has better things to do, as in anything to do.
And you know what? That is going around to my girlfriend's house, stopping in and watching a film, but still better.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it's international football, and at least that's the one thing. I hate international breaks, but at least there isn't another one until like March after this.
Yeah. So, and the FA have released the Premier League schedule for next year now to include the international break for the World Cup. So
yeah, I'm not going to. There's no point getting into the energy of, but God, it stinks that the World Cup's in Qatar in the winter. It's just wrong. It's wrong for about 8 trivial reasons, and then about 4 serious ones as well.
Yeah. No one wants.
And the 4 serious ones, any one of those 4 serious ones is individually enough to say they shouldn't have had it.
Yeah, and yet where they're going, but it's a summer tournament. It's always a summer tournament. It will always be a summer tournament from now on.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you didn't take the fucking money, you bastards.
Yeah.
This picture they've put up for the England starting lineup of the kits in the dressing room. I know they've got to fit them in, But I have good eyesight, and it's quite hard to pick out the starting 11. Like I know. Once you sort of vaguely know the players' names, it's a bit easier. But I can't tell if it's Ben Chilwell or Stephen Caldwell at left back. Is what I'm saying.
I would pay to see Stephen Caldwell playing left back for England.
Is Calvin number 7?
Yes, he is. Which, that's not right.
No, that's weird.
That's not your number.
It's like when you see it's like when you see a child giving out squad numbers on Football Manager. They've got it all wrong here.
Or Turkish football.
Have we got Reece? Is Reece James playing? Is he number 4? And is Kyle Walker playing as well?
It appears that way.
Have we got 3 fullbacks in this starting 11 again?
Well, yeah, but of course.
Classic Gareth.
Yeah. Gareth loves a fullback. Obviously, there's no game to preview because we'll be back before the next one. I think that the 23s have got a game early next week, I think, but I can't remember who they're playing. I think it's like Mansfield in like the Premier League Cup or something. But
at this point, will it be the under-18s?
Yeah, I was going to say, if the bookies don't notice that none of Leeds' players are there, do check the price. Because when we played Wigan in the last international break, Wigan were 8-1 draw no bet, and there should have been about even money. Tops. So, yeah, do have a check if you're out there and you notice it. But I think that'll do us for episode 132 at Mike White's podcast. Bit of a weird one, but I think that overall, we're all feeling a bit better now.
Yeah. We've got 4 points on the board for the last 2 games. Our form over 6 games is mediocre. So everything's going to be fine.
And mediocre is so much better than it was looking at one stage.
Yeah.
And may look again. We don't know yet.
I'll tell you what, I'm very glad at the start of this season I wasn't one of the people who was going, yeah, it's basically got to be Europa League this season. Got to, really got to build on that. I'm glad that wasn't me, because you'd be so much more disappointed with how this season has gone, and yeah, I was disappointed with how it started.
Yeah, that's the key. Set your expectations low. I tell our lads all the time. Just keep them expectations low.
I mean, I told you to set that line at your vows, but
why lie? So yeah, that'll do us. We will be back some point next week. I don't know exactly which day, but it will get sorted. But I've been Jack. See ya.
I've been KC. Have a good one.
In a bit.